Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a few incidents where police officers behave with pure misconduct and show no regard for the legal duties they are responsible to uphold. Let's kick things off with an unbelievable encounter between a bunch of detectives and an innocent man who was sitting in his vehicle and watching YouTube. Note that he was not committing any crimes at all. He was rightfully parked in a parking spot on his property and was simply using his phone. Suddenly, a fleet of detectives pulled up on him with guns drawn and forced him to step outside. The man subsequently started to record the ordeal on his phone.
So I'm sitting in my car watching YouTube, and this is what just happened. Literally, at my property. Look at him.
Listen.
Look at this. What do y'all want, man? Why are y'all pulling me over? Sitting there, bro, just talk. Nobody's in the car. Y'all coming to me asking me questions, pulling guns at me. What do you want, man? Come up to me like that? What is wrong with you, man? Man, look, what do you want?
Let him explain it real quick, okay? Good? Then I pat you down for weapons.
Bro, I don't have my gun on me.
Record me. I just need to pat you down. Okay?
I don't really want you to touch me.
I need
Matter
to
of fact, no, you can't touch me. I don't have any guns. Look, no guns. You see that?
Can you raise your hands up for me?
My hands is up. I just showed you. I don't.
I mean, listen. Do you have any knives?
No, I'm not.
Okay, listen.
You just put you come
Yes,
on now.
there's a reason
No.
for that. Let me
What?
explain
Tell
it.
me the
Okay?
reason.
I'm going to explain it. Okay? I'm Detective Channel, Las Vegas Metro. Okay? You were parked here. Clearly, there's a lot of unmarked cars. We're looking for somebody. We don't know what car they're driving. You pulled up and you stayed there.
That's a good reason to come over here and do that.
Yeah.
As seen in the footage, one of the detectives claimed that the reason for detaining the man was simply because they were looking for an unknown and unidentified vehicle. So, for some reason, they assumed that his car was the one that they were looking for. Then, as if this encounter was not already unlawful enough, the detective quite literally admitted to harassing the man for no reason, as none of the detectives had a clue about what car they were looking for and what its driver's description was. Essentially, what they had done was picked a random car with a random driver in it, just to check if they were lucky enough to find their suspect.
So he's telling me that I'm sitting in my car and they're looking for somebody and there's a lot of unmarked cars and he just pulled a gun on me and told me to get out my car because they're looking for somebody. Do I fit the description?
We don't know.
Right. So you're just looking at people. So you gonna go pull somebody else over and pull your guns on them, and everybody gonna get out the car? This is the dumbest thing in the world, man.
Explain everything, okay? We don't know what car they're driving. You pulled up and you parked there for a good 10 minutes, right? He's supposed to meet us at Del Taco.
All right, I'm cool. I'm done. I'm done with this.
Listen.
But I will be making a report. I swear to God. I'm done with this. I don't have nothing else to say to y'all. There's nothing else to talk about. Go about your business, please.
Soon enough, the driver was fed up with the detective's excuses and dismissed him by stepping back inside his vehicle and ending the confrontation immediately. This encounter goes to show how easily law enforcement can harass and detain you without a single reason. Next up, a local police department received numerous 911 calls about an on-duty police officer driving erratically and running several stop signs. Also, there were reports of the officer appearing to be asleep behind the wheel. As expected, this prompted notice to a few other officers around the area, who soon managed to make contact with the accused officer.
Hey, Officer Oscar, why don't we come back out here real quick? Come back here, boss man. It's all good.
Hey, man. So, can you just put your hands on the roof for me? I'm gonna remove your gun, okay? You got any other weapons?
No, but I'm
Take a
prone to
seizure.
seizures. You're prone to seizures? Okay, I'll turn my lights off real quick for you, alright?
I'm gonna put this in my car for the duration of this encounter, okay? What's going on, man?
You know, my seizures might act up right now.
Okay, you need a EMS?
No. Here, let's just lean against my car real quick, alright? Alright, right here. It may get a little hot because it's an older car, alright?
one of the responding officers found open containers of alcohol in the patrol vehicle, which hinted that the officer in question must have been under the influence. This was a pretty logical assumption, since the officer also displayed all signs of being drunk. Regardless, one of the witnesses was questioned, and body cam footage captured their recollection of the officer's behavior on the road, which led to their concern and the report made to 911 dispatchers. Watch as the witness describes the ordeal to one of the responding officers.
This guy was in from Lowe's in Mount Dora all the way around a couple of blocks to Center Street and whatever the other street is.
31, I will give him a call back in a minute. I'm speaking to Complaint again.
Yeah, Center Street and Firewood.
Yes, sir.
All over the road, stopping in the middle of the street, off the road, running stop signs. A lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
With this guy. And I tried to call the Popka PD, of course, they say they closed. So we just called 911, I guess, and went to you guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure other people was probably calling you.
Okay.
But,
yeah, we got a call.
Yeah, I don't. He could be having a medical condition, but he was asleep. We passed by his car. He was asleep.
He was asleep?
When
did you pass by his car?
Right over here at Center and Firewood.
Okay.
We turned the corner. He was coming this way. We turned the corner because we kind of lost it.
All right.
But I have everything on video.
You do? Would you be able to email that to one of our officers?
Yeah, the guy just gave me a card here.
Perfect. That email is on at the erap@ci.justis.fl.us would be a good email to send that.
The witness claimed that he had video evidence of the officer's unusual behavior. This was, as expected, strong evidence which could be used against the officer. So, regardless of any excuses or alibis the officer presents henceforth, they could be easily debunked through the video evidence. Keeping this in mind, let's take a look at what the officer had to say about his actions.
What's your name, man?
Officer Mayorga said his name was Oscar.
Okay. Do you have a business card, sir?
Yes.
I'm Corporal Steele, by the way, man. Oh, is this your ID? Nope.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's not an ID. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna hand these back to you, because I don't know. Oh, that's your ID. That's your card to get back into the station.
Sir, did you do anything to celebrate today, man?
No, sir.
No? Listen, man. It's
it's
better to be honest. In our profession,
I took a lot of Benadryl.
listen, in our profession, you know it's best to be honest, right?
No, I know.
Okay.
No, I know. I took
Listen, man.
these Benadryls.
There is a open container of alcohol in your vehicle. Have you been drinking at all today?
No, that's maybe 3 days old.
As seen in the footage, the officer first tries to claim that he had taken a substantial amount of Benadryl, which is a drug used to relieve symptoms of an allergy. In response, the other officers requested him to be transparent, as they already knew he was likely drunk, and they also brought up the open containers, but the officer claimed those were 3 days old. Now watch as one of the officers gets surprised when the evidently drunk officer agrees to take a field sobriety test. It was almost as if the responding officer did not want the drunk officer to agree, as then it would become instantly clear that an arrest is to be made.
Okay. I smell the alcohol coming from your breath. Are you willing to perform standard field sobriety exercises?
Okay.
You are?
No.
You don't want to do them? Okay.
One thing that's needed to be highlighted here is that it's very likely that the usual citizen would not have been treated with this level of sympathy and compliance. The officers had every reason to place the drunk officer under arrest, but were trying hard not to escalate things. Eventually, though, the drunk officer was detained and later charged with DUI.
I am really just begging you. I don't want to go to jail.
Well, hey, we're gonna detain you, and we're gonna figure it out, okay? Go ahead and don't get a resistance charge.
No, of course not. No, of course not.
Put your hands like you're praying.
Yeah.
If anything, this encounter also shows that police officers are humans too. One could only imagine what he was going through to be completely wasted while on the clock in law enforcement. Moving on, In this ridiculous encounter, we have a police officer who decided to harass a driver parked on private property. For some reason, the officer assumed that the driver was certainly not allowed to be there and subsequently demanded a license and proof of insurance. Note that the officer had absolutely zero reasonable articulable suspicion to even speak with the driver, let alone question or detain him.
You're about to drive off and I want to make sure you have a valid driver's license. Because you're not supposed to be on the property.
Well, and so
Yes, sir. So you're about to drive off, yes, sir.
So I'll accept being trespassed, but I don't want to be ID'd.
Okay, well, you're driving off, right? We have to make sure you have a valid driver's license.
When you
Does that make sense?
no, when you have
How does that not make sense?
when you have an infraction to pull me over for, then
Over here, we want to make sure you're able to drive off. You have a valid driver's license to drive off, right?
I understand
So you're
that
not
you want to
operating
do
a motor
that.
vehicle without a bad license, right?
And do you
So
suspect
we got-
that I don't have a license?
Well, we got to make sure.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir. We do. If you're driving off, yes, sir.
No, yeah, you can't just pull people over for.
I'm not pulling you over. I'm making sure you have a driver's license for you to be able to drive off.
And what makes you suspect I don't have one?
We got to make sure. We got to double check. Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
Surely do.
Okay. Do you have that with you?
Surely do.
All right. Can I see that?
No.
You have to have insurance to drive off, yes, sir. And you have to have a driver's license to drive a vehicle, right? Does that make sense?
Surely does.
Okay. But we have to make sure that's what's
And
going
when
on.
you have a reason to suspect
We
that
do.
I don't,
We have a reason that you got to drive off. Because you're not supposed to be on the property.
and I'm
Yes.
happy to
we
leave
have
the
to make
property.
sure you have insurance and a driver's license. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. It makes sense if you pull me over for an infraction.
That's not how this works. You're not supposed to be on the property. You're going to have to drive off in your vehicle,
Right?
right?
And that's the trespass. I'm accepting being trespassed.
Hold on. For us to let you do that, we have to make sure you have a current driver's license and insurance for the vehicle.
What makes you suspect I don't have it?
Well, we have to make sure.
Am I under arrest?
No, you're not, sir.
Then, unless you've got me on an infraction of some kind, I don't have to identify.
As seen in the footage, the officer blatantly admitted that he was not detaining the man. So at this point, the man was essentially free to leave. Despite this, the officer still wanted to engage with the driver by switching his unlawful investigation into a more ridiculous one. The officer started questioning the driver by asking where he was headed and what he was going to do after leaving the property. It goes without saying that these questions were not only unnecessary, but completely none of the officer's business.
Where are you heading after this? So, where are you going?
Off the property, I guess.
Okay. Well, what's your next move?
We'll head off the property.
Okay. Are you gonna go onto any public driveway, like any public road? Is that where you're going?
Eventually, sure.
Okay. Then we got to make sure you got a driver's license.
And when you see me with an infraction on that public roadway, then you can pull me over.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna let you drive off if you don't have a driver's license, sir.
Is your supervisor about?
He's watching.
And what's he got to say?
At this point, a supervisor, who was watching from a distance, called the officer and he appeared to be speaking about the situation with the supervisor. For a brief moment, the officer tried his best to continue with his unlawful detainment. However, soon enough, the supervisor ordered the officer to disengage and let the driver go about his day.
He's got to get off property. All right. Cool, man. All right, you're good.
Thanks. You
Have a
guys,
good one.
you have a good day.
Yes, sir.
In this hysterical incident, a young man was suspected to be allegedly impersonating law enforcement. The local police department arrived on the premises where the man appeared to be directing traffic. Officers made contact with him, and he promptly claimed that he was an off-duty officer who was working for a security company. However, the vest he was wearing certainly didn't suggest that. It clearly read police, and he also had a gun belt around his waist.
Hi there. There. So, you're an actual Cleveland police officer?
No, I'm not with Cleveland PD. I work for Cleveland Watchmen. We're a security company that hires only off-duty police officers to do traffic control for.
Are you an off-duty police officer?
Yeah.
So who are you with?
Pickway Sheriff's Office.
Pickway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're out of
They do.
Ohio, and you're here working in Franklin County in Whitehall as an off-duty police officer.
No, I'm working as a security guard. So we do.
No, your uniform marked as a police officer. You're working as a police officer right now with a car that has red and blue lights on it.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I've got some paperwork I can give to you from.
Absolutely, and I'll need to get your information. I've been asked to come up here by my deputy chief and get that.
Okay.
Because yeah. Here, you.
What made this situation worse was the fact that this man was somehow operating a marked police vehicle. It's pretty obvious that impersonating law enforcement is a very serious violation of the law, but the confidence this man had while blatantly lying to the officers was unbelievable. Watch as he gets meticulously questioned by the officers, which eventually leads him to tell the truth, even after trying hard to dodge the questions.
Okay. So I can't get a hold of the chief from Richland Township, which is Glenmont.
It's Richland Township.
Yeah.
So it's a township police department,
No,
or
it's
it's
the
village?
Village in Richland Township. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a village in Richland.
But you have no ID from them.
No,
all right.
no.
And have you ever been sworn in by them?
I've talked to the chief.
No.
So
I'm asking you a direct question. Have you been sworn in by
It's
them?
very important you answer this correctly, because being a former police officer or someday a current police officer, you know if you lie in this situation, you go directly to jail.
No, I'm not.
So I'm going to put that right
listen,
out.
I'm not.
So
I'm
if you
not,
are telling me you are a police officer right now, is that what you're telling me?
No.
So you are not a commissioned police officer.
I have spoke with the chief.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you one question. Are you a commissioned police officer through the state of Ohio?
I have an OPUDA certificate.
That's not what I'm
That's
asking.
not what I'm asking you.
I'm explaining to you. I have
No, you're not. You're not answering the question. You're avoiding the question. It's very simple. Are you a sworn police officer anywhere in the state of
means
Ohio with
commissioned.
any department?
Not currently.
Okay. That's the
Not that,
question.
well,
Not currently.
I'm unsure.
You can't be unsure.
You can't be unsure.
You would have to raise your hand, swear, sign a form, and you would get paperwork on that.
Hello.
Talking to the chief is not enough.
Funnily enough, he even pretended to speak with the chief, but the officers obviously didn't buy it. He was simply trying his best to escape the consequences he was destined to face. Soon, the man pleaded with the officers after getting caught red-handed in his lies. He asked the officers not to ruin his career, but one would wonder what career he was talking about, since he was certainly not in law enforcement. Regardless, he was eventually told that he'd be getting charged for impersonating and was subsequently patted down before being transported to jail.
Please do not. I'm asking you for courtesy, man to man. Please do not ruin my career. Please.
I think you did that kind of on your own, Casey.
Please.
All right. The Pickaway County. You knew you didn't work for Pickaway County. You displayed that badge. All right. You're out here acting in law enforcement capacity, displaying a badge that you have no right to have, or a facsimile of a badge. That's not even a real badge. You were aware of that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not real.
Okay. So, all right. You're going to be charged.
Oh, seriously.
I'm serious. Okay. Now we're going to be nice about this. Okay. And we're going to take you over, and you can take your gun belt off, and you can set it on the hood of that car, okay? And we're going to take you in. We don't have to handcuff you. This officer is going to pat you down, all right? And we'll let you out, all right, on a summons, all right? Now,
Are we too far for me to?
we're
Listen,
okay.
Completely deceptive.
Here's the problem. Here's you don't understand that right now we can charge you for improperly handling in a vehicle. I can charge you for impersonating a police officer. All right, there's tons of charges.
What are you charging?
Here, well, probably the impersonation of a police officer.
So the best thing to do right now is to just take off the belt.
And I'm
All right, so let's step over here and take care of that first.
Smith, right here. Right here.
All right.
Take off the belt. Then I'm going to sit.
You don't have anything else on you, do you?
No.
All right.
Just,
Don't reach in. All right, you should know the drill.
Like a friend.
As seen in the footage, the officers actually cut him a substantial break, even though they were well within their capacity to charge the young man with several other violations. Needless to say, the impersonator learned a good lesson that day. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we run through many other outrageous cases.